So it was like a month ago where I was like, I don't want to do heavy trade rumor stuff. I just kind of want to wait until moves happen. I think I'm going back on my word because I want to talk about the Siakam rumors. Also, I made a mistake 2 videos ago where I was talking about Philly's potential future cap space. It's way more than I realized because I forgot about Maxi's cap hold being cheaper, and so that gives him more money to play with. Anyway, so the reports that you can find out there are saying that Siakam would not re-sign to a team that trades for him. The Hawks offer of DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, and draft compensation, which my guess is like probably the Kings lottery protected first and whatever else. Those are the big reports. And look, I mean, Siakam, based on all accounts, the dude loves Toronto, man. If he makes an All-NBA team this season, would be eligible for the Supermax, which is, of course, 35% of the salary cap. Now, look, I do not believe that even if he becomes eligible for that the Raptors will offer him the Supermax. I think they would definitely offer him a lot of money if he doesn't get traded, but I don't think it's going to be the Supermax. And I think that would be one of the 2 ideal scenarios here. Like, if you're Toronto, I think you're looking at this as we're either going to extend Siakam on a number that we like, or if we're going to trade him, we're going to get something better than what Atlanta has reportedly offered so far, which, I mean, we could talk about it now. Look, DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, draft compensation, that's the offer that has been reported, right? DeAndre Hunter's cool. He's never become the, like, super awesome 2-way wing you'd love to have. You know, you probably wish he'd shoot more threes, wish he was a little better off the dribble. But he's cool overall. And then AJ Griffin did show some nice potential with the ball in his hands when he was able to get it in Atlanta's offense that's so heavy on Trey and DeJounte pick and roll. But still, I agree with the Raptors front office. I don't think it's enough for Siakam, even with picks. Whether it'll be Atlanta or not, I don't know. But like, you've also seen the Pacers and the Kings mentioned with Siakam a little bit. But Atlanta has definitely been the most speculated, reported on team, whatever you want to say. I mean, Siakam, his growth, I mean, at this point, is just the standard thing. Like, his size, his handle, his, at times, contested shot making, but especially just his downhill, the spin move stuff, and just the way he can break down guys at his size. Like, it's impressive. No, he's not an MVP candidate, but he's a very good player who I think you can just get more for if you're going to trade him, right? Now, within that, okay, there's some questions about his three-point shooting, and if he was going to go to a team where there's a better guy than him, and then it's, can you be more of the catch-and-shoot guy because his three-point percentage has kind of dwindled the past couple years. That's fair. Even so, the talent is the talent. He's still a positive on offense, on defense, on everything. And his passing is probably a little underrated at this point. The other thing that's been speculated about a little bit, you can find it as some idea of like a 3-team deal where usually Dallas gets involved and then Capella's going to Dallas. And as far as how that sweetens the offer for the Raptors, I don't know. But obviously if a third team gets involved, there's more moving parts, more teams getting stuff, all that. So, okay. With all that said, though, the Raptors' offense last season was a slog, whatever word you want to use, right? Some of it was because they didn't get a real screen setter until Pirtle later in the season, where then they had more of an actual pick and roll game going. Fred, of course, had a tougher year where some of his tough shots that he takes just didn't go in as much. And then you also had this awkwardness between Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and OG Anunoby, where you had just not a lot of connectivity pretty much, right? And just for some advanced stats, I mean, Basketball Reference has them at 11th in offensive rating last year, and NBA.com has them like 13th. They're middle of the pack, whichever one you really want to look at, which I think reflects the fact that it was overall awkward, but it was still a decently talented team. And once Pirtle was playing for them, the numbers did tick up a bit. Well, if you dive into Darko Rajakovic, their new coach, I mean, I've said a lot of this before, but people have glowing things to say about the way he looks at pick and rolls and spacing and all that. Of course, Scotty Barnes had a quote, what feels like a month and a half ago, basically saying that. But also Darko, he does believe in something called the 0.5 offense, which is a bit of a read and react Warriors-esque thing where it's a lot of movement and making quick decisions and all that stuff, which of course would be a pretty strong adjustment from this last season on offense for the Raptors. It's probably going to take a minute to figure out. And within that, of course, look, Scotty Barnes, we all see his skills as a passer at his size, right? He's also been able to get busy with offensive rebounds and lingering around the dunker spot, cutting. He gets in the post occasionally. He's got like a little bit of a spin move thing that he goes through sometimes. Like, there's a lot there with Scotty. Obviously, the jump shot is the biggest question with him, I understand. But I really would love to see that dude in just a different type of an offense, right? Gary Trent's obviously a shot maker. I think it's safe to say that Darko is the type of coach who will have Grady Dick involved in the offense, and he's not just going to plant him in the corner, which, I mean, of course, that's very important for guys who are, shooters like that. And I feel like Pirtle's kind of an underrated passer as well, where he can find guys if they're cutting or whatever. Like, obviously, you're not going to dump the ball into the post with Pirtle all day, but like stuff from like top of the key, free throw line area, whatever, he can make reads. So we'll see. It's a talented team. They're trying to have an overhaul in their offense. Fred, again, he had a rough season by his standards last year. At the same time, he still did a lot for him as a ball handler and a passer, and he would still have some big games here and there. So for what all that means. And of course, they traded that top 6 protected pick for Pirtle, so there's a decent shot they're not going to get their pick this year. So let's just hope that they can escape the sort of stuck in the middle feeling that I think they had last season. And, I'm talking about the offense a lot, but defensively, I remember once they got Pirtle, their opponent corner threes went way down because they could play just more of a safer coverage and stuff once Nick Nurse was cool with that. Well, I saw a soundbite from Darko where he said that his 2 philosophies defensively are protecting the basket and protecting corner threes. And he's got a drop defender as Pirtle, so I would imagine you're probably going to see a safer defense from them. And so as far as what that means for, back to the Siakam trade stuff, I'll just say it again. To me, we got one of 2 outcomes. Either he's re-signing with the Raptors on a deal that is not the Supermax, as far as the exact numbers and stuff, I don't know. Or he's getting traded for something that's better than the Hawks offer. And I'm talking about Siakam a lot, but Anunoby's got a player option after this upcoming season, so we'll see with him too what happens there.